Hey guys, and welcome back to the Flourish Planner YouTube channel. Thank you so much for tuning into this video. I'm super excited about this video because today we are going to be talking about books, which has become one of my favorite topics. And specifically, we are going to be revamping the reading journal and planner that I have on my shop. I started filling it out whenever I launched it, and then I slowly trailed off, and since then I've read quite a few books and just haven't logged them, and I thought that I would share with you the process of doing that. But first, I wanted to share with you guys some of my favorite books. I also wanted to share with you the current reads that I am currently reading, as well as some of the ways that I consume my books so that I'm able to read even more. So if you're interested in any of those topics, just keep on watching. First of all, I just want to say I read mostly as just a escape, a pleasurable activity. You know, they may not be the most educational books in the world, but I enjoy them. So that's that. The first books that I've read this year was the Throne of Glass series by Sarah J. Maas. And by the way, I get all of my book recommendations on TikTok. So I read this whole series. Absolutely loved it, and I am in the midst of reading her second series right now. I'm on the second book, and it is everything. I also have been really into rom-coms. The Unhoneymooners. I don't know how do I organize this video? Is this very haphazard? I'm just gonna do it. I mean, whatever. I also read Honey Girl by Morgan Rogers. My friend Sierra sent me this. Hating Game. I don't know about this one. The ending, it didn't do it for me. Another book series I've really been enjoying, which I never thought that I would like, but it is Heartstopper, and the reason why I didn't think I'd like this is because it is a graphic novel. So it reads like a comic. Oh, two other books I've read are by Colleen Hoover. And I read Ugly Love and All Your Perfects, which don't even get me started on this cover. I don't understand why people put people on the cover. So the three books I'm reading right now are A Court of Mist and Fury, which is the second book in that series I was telling you about by Sarah J. Maas. So good so far. My nonfiction book that I'm reading right now is Sapiens, which this is really, really fascinating. I'm reading this very, very slowly, like a couple pages at a time, because it's very dense. And then I haven't started this yet, but I'm going to be reading the third volume in the Heartstopper series by Alice Oseman. These books just give me serotonin. Like it's just a feel-good book. I just really love it. So before I get into setting up my reading journal for the rest of the year, I wanted to share with you guys some of the ways that some of the things that I use to read and read more. So the first way is obviously just physical books. I love reading a physical book. Of course, love stacking up books on my shelves and having it there. I don't know if that is like, I don't know if the stacking the books on the shelf thing is like a ego thing of like, I just want to look at all of the books that I've read, but I do. I also love audiobooks. I know some people don't consider audiobooks as reading, but I do personally. And my new favorite audio app, I used to use Audible, just $15 a month for 1 credit, and then I recently got Scribd, $10 a month for unlimited audiobooks. I love having audiobooks for when I'm cleaning, when I'm on a walk, when I'm driving, when I'm doing mundane tasks. I can just throw on an audiobook. And then I also recently caved and I bought a Kindle. And I don't know what got into me. I just decided that I wanted a Kindle. I love reading this in bed at night. I also it's waterproof, so I can read it in the bath or at the beach. And it's very compact, so I can travel. I also have Kindle Unlimited, so there's tons of books that come with Kindle Unlimited that I can just download on here. I honestly don't know if this is excessive, having 3 forms of reading: audiobooks, physical books, and digital books. Whenever I get obsessed with something, I get obsessed with it. Like, I can't stop myself. I just have to, I have books on me at all times now because I love reading. I also love this because of the anonymity. Is that the word? Anonymity. I love the anonymity of, I mean, look at me, I'm saying big words, I read books. Anyways, I could read on my iPad. You can get the Kindle app on your iPad. However, I am on a screen quite literally the entire day from the moment I wake up until dinner. And I just don't like reading on the iPad. So now that I've explained and justified my entire reading system, let's set up the reading planner. So I thought I would just take you through what I have on my planner at the moment. So this is the cover page, and then you swipe over, and this is my reading goal for the year, which is 25 books, which I think I've already hit this. I'll have to check my Goodreads, but yep. So, and this all has, the stickers that I made that come with the planner as well if you want to get a little more creative. And then of course the tabs up here are linked tabs that you can just tap on and it will go to. So here is my book board. This is just like a vision board with all of the books that you want to read over a year or maybe the summer. Maybe you can make your summer reading list one. And I just kind of like having this and making these because it just inspires me to read, and I just love looking at all of the beautiful pictures of the books. And yeah, it's a little bit of a nerdy thing, but honestly, a lot of people really enjoy this spread and I really do too. So that's that. Here we have our reading list, which I need to redo this. I need to erase this and redo my reading list. These can be books you want to read, and some of these still stand, but I need to kind of refresh this a little bit. And then here is the digital bookshelf. So as you can see, I have in here a page filled with some of the books I read, but I don't have all of them in here, and I need to, this is like the main thing I need to do, and I need to add in all of the books that I've read this year and add them to this spread so that I can see all of my ratings. And then of course we have the book review section, which I probably won't go back and review each of the books I've read this year just because that is going to be a lot. So I might go in and just do my most recent couple reads in here and just kind of do that. So I'll probably do it for my most recent 2 reads. And then we have a quotes page, which as you can see is completely empty. I have not filled this out at all. So I'm gonna go through and look up some quotes from some of my favorite books so far this year and write in some of my favorite quotes in here. So now let's get into filling out the reading journal. I wanted to show you guys that I was watching The Outer Banks as I was doing this. And yeah, so the first thing I did was I set my reading goal for the end of 2021. So you saw at the beginning of the year, I set my goal to be 25 books, and I've already hit that, which is really awesome. So I thought that I would set another goal for the end of the year. And the reason why I set a reading goal is because it motivates me and inspires me to read rather than, scroll on social media or watch TV. And plus, I've just really found a love for reading this year, and so I'm more than happy to try to hit my next goal of 25 books for the end of 2021, which would leave me with 50 books, which is so much more than I've ever read. And I used to not be a reader at all growing up. I honestly hated reading, and I don't know what's come over me. I think I've just found books that I've actually really enjoyed, and therefore I'm able to fully enjoy the process of reading. And now I definitely look forward to it at the end of every night, and it's just something that I really enjoy. So once I set my reading goal and I decorated it with some of the reading stickers, I went over to my Goodreads and I checked out all the books that I've marked as books that I want to read to add to my reading list. So pretty much I just made a long list, brain dumping all of the books that I want to read. I don't necessarily have to hit all of these this year, but this is just an ongoing list of books that I have seen, whether it's on YouTube or TikTok or a friend has recommended to me, that I want to remember to try to read or pick up whenever I'm looking for something. And of course, I asked you guys on Instagram what your favorite book was so far in 2021, and these were all of your responses. So I went through and I put a bunch of these on my list as well to try to read. And it seems like we all have very similar tastes in books, because I was looking through some of these and all of them sound amazing, and I've honestly already have a lot of these on my reading list. So we clearly have very similar taste in books, which is awesome. A reason why I love doing this digitally is because I feel like my TBR, or my to be read list, is constantly changing based on what mood I'm in. So sometimes I'm in a really big fantasy phase like I'm in right now. Other times I'm in a big romance rom-com phase. Other times I want to read like super educational nonfiction books. So it's constantly changing, which is why I love having it digital, because I can go in here and edit things or take things out. And of course you can copy and paste this template over and over again so that you can have as many of these reading list templates as you'd like. So now it is time to log all of the books that I've read so far this year in my digital bookshelf. So I love this spread so much because it is just a quick glance at all of the books you've read and your star rating. So you can quickly look and see which books you loved, maybe some you didn't love, and maybe some you were neutral about. I just love the idea of building out your digital bookshelf. I just think it's a really fun concept and idea. So what I'm doing here is I went over to my Goodreads and I went to all of the books I've read so that I could easily screenshot the covers, because I just wanted a quick and easy way to get all of the covers of all of the books I've read. So if you're looking to set up your reading planner too and you haven't done it yet this year, this is a really easy way to just get all of your covers right there instead of Googling them and trying to find the cover online. I also want to know down in the comments below, as I am screenshotting these different books, if you guys have read any of these as well this year or at all. I know a lot of the books I've read are pretty popular books, and so I'd be curious to hear if you guys have read any of the books that are on my digital bookshelf and what you think of them. Tip for filling out the stars is to use the highlighter tool, because the ink will actually go behind the black outline of the star, making it look a bit more crisp and clean, like you filled in the lines. And what I did here was I filled in each of the stars so that all 5 stars were filled in, and I copy and pasted this over each of the star ratings so that all of them had 5 stars, and then I went back in and just quickly erased them to be the star rating that I gave them. This is just much quicker than going in and filling in each of the star ratings if you are doing a bulk ad like I am doing right now. Of course, if I am just adding in one at a time, I will color in each of them, but this is just a quick hack to do that if you don't want to spend time coloring in each of the stars if you're adding in a bunch of different books. And whenever I was filming this, my camera died that night, so I woke up the next morning, made myself a big coffee to finish up the reading journal. So I was just sharing with you guys a little bit of behind the scenes of me making this. And yeah, I tend to always forget to charge my camera before I film, so we're gonna work on that. So picking up where I left off the night before, I am going to fill out a couple book reviews for my most recent reads. This is probably my favorite spread in the entire planner / journal, just because I love to write down my thoughts about the book, because not only does it help me remember what I actually read, especially if it's a series, but I honestly hate writing out all my thoughts publicly on Goodreads. Whenever I'm writing out my thoughts on a book, I tend to get pretty philosophical, if you will, just because I like to think deeply about the books that I'm reading. Even if it's just a fantasy or a rom-com, I always like to take some sort of lesson from it and learn something from the book. So I don't really love, pouring my heart out on a public platform. So I really like being able to just journal in my own private way, so I can look back on the book and remember what it was about and remember if it impacted me in any way or any lessons I learned from it. And yeah, just in general, I really enjoy that aspect of this planning journal. So once I was done filling out the 2 reviews of my recent reads, I went ahead and filled out the quote spread with all of my favorite quotes from my favorite books I read this year. And guys, this was like my favorite part of the whole process. Like, you just forget about these little quotes that you read, and I just love logging them in this spread because there are so many good quotes in books, and you can just so easily forget them unless you remember to write them down. Or I know if you have a Kindle, you can highlight them and then export them, but this was just a great way for me to go back on some of my favorite books and just fangirl over these authors' quotes. I mean, some of these authors, their writing is just amazing, and yeah, I shared with you guys some of my favorite quotes, so if you want to pause and read those, I highly recommend. And after I was done filling out this spread off camera, I went ahead and I made a new vision board. I've made so many vision boards on my channel, so you can go check out any of my previous videos, and odds are I've made a vision board in them. So I didn't feel like it was necessary to share another vision board time lapse in this video, but I just went ahead and put some of the books that I put on my TBR and, some pictures of the Kindle and just reading nooks and just reading inspiration in general. And that is how I set up my reading planner. I'm so excited to continue using this now that it is all filled out and up to date. Now all I have to do is every time I finish a book, just pop in here, write a review, add it to my digital bookshelf, and it's super great to just keep track of all of your reads throughout the year. And I would love it if you guys left in the comments what your favorite read was, and if you've read any of the books that I've shared today and what you thought about them, because I am just very interested to hear. I have been obsessed with books, and yeah, so just definitely leave that in the comments. Let me know, and thank you guys so much for watching this video, and I will see you guys next time. Bye guys.